Welcome once again. Good evening. Good evening. How's been your day? I trust you are doing very well. All right. So, welcome once again to this 40 days transformation challenge. I trust that the Lord has been helping you to make some changes or significant changes in your life. All right. So, today is day 22. Day 22. Yesterday was day 21, and we were talking about the mindset of the rich versus the mindset of the poor, right? And we mentioned quite a lot. I think 12. I think we mentioned like 12 points on that. We were talking about. We mentioned. I'll just mention maybe just a few because of our time. We mentioned that the rich believe in creating his own outcome, while the poor believe in destiny. Also, we said that the rich believes in work, while the poor believes in luck. Number 3, we said the poor believes that to be poor is spiritual. Believe that poverty is spiritual. It helps you know God, keeps you humble, it makes you not to be proud. Meanwhile, the rich believe that when they have money, when they are wealthy, they are able to serve God better. They are able to sponsor the gospel, sponsor missionary works, build churches, pay salaries of churches or pastors or church workers. Number 4, we said another significant way that the rich thinks and the poor think differently is that the rich think big while the poor think small. And if God has a project to do, he would rather go to somebody who thinks big than the person that thinks small. And that's why God will always push more resources to the rich than to the poor. All right? Also, the rich takes risk while the poor play it safe. The rich takes risk while the poor play it safe. Also, we say that the rich see opportunity, problems as opportunity, and the poor see opportunity as problems as crisis. So they run away from it while the rich run towards it. We also said the rich make goals to be wealthy, while the poor wish that one day, God will bless me, God will change my stories and so forth. They believe just in miracles. Number 8, the rich makes financial the poor pursues money while the rich pursues financial literacy. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is what gives you the ability to get rich. All right. Then we also said, number 9, we said the poor focus on earning and spending, while the rich focus on earning and investing. All right. Also, we said the rich have rich friends, while the poor have poor friends. Of course, you know that you are a reflection of your association. The people you mix with will rub off on you. So, also, number 11, we said that the rich admire other rich people, while the poor hate the rich. The poor envies the rich. They hate. They don't want to see the rich. The rich are never perfect people. They're just people who are just lucky, who are just spoiled, who are not hardworking, who are lazy. To the poor. Meanwhile, the rich always admire the rich. So, if you are poor, you cannot attract what you criticize. You cannot attract what you hate. So, the reason why you are poor is because you are also not. You are not celebrating the people who are rich around you. We said the rich fails to learn. The rich fails and learn, but the poor fails and run. Okay, I think we've taken enough time, that. So today we just quickly talk about understanding the concept of money. Understanding the concept of money. All right. So let's get into it. Take your jotter, your pen, and let's quickly do some learning here. So understanding the concept of money. Of course, if there's one thing that people are running after, it's money. Everybody, when people go out in the morning, most times they are going to look for money. When they stay awake, most times they are looking for money. When they are on their phone, they are looking for money. When they are in their office, they are looking for money. So it's almost the money is in front, and all the world, everybody is just trying to, chase it. But the thing is that the people who really have this money are not the people that chase money. They are the people that actually attract money. So money is not something you pursue, it's something that you attract. And when we're talking about money, there are a lot of misunderstanding about money. But let me say this first, that money means different things to different people. All right? It means different things to different people. For instance, if you bring 10% of your money, which is your earning, to church, it's called tithe. So to church, it might be a tithe, or if you maybe sow it as a seed, we call it a seed or an offering. When you borrow it from the bank, we call it a loan. When you pay for it for the whole month, for staying in a place, you call it a house rent or something. Also, when you work for 30 days and you are given at the end of the month, you call it a salary or wages, all right? Okay, if somebody tender this same money to you to pervert judgment, we call it bribe. Also, when you decide to give a waiter who just served you a beautiful meal, you decide to give them some money, we call it a tip. Also, if you've been in service for 30 years or more or less, and you decided to retire, we call it a pension, all right? Also, if one day you say, I want to get married, I want to be married, and you're a man, and the money you give to the father of the bride, and in some country it is the lady that pays the bride the money, so it's called the bride price or the dowry, right? Also, if you flout a law, all right, you flout a law and you are supposed to pay some particular money just to not go to prison, it's called fine, all right? If somebody is kidnapped and you are asked to pay money, it's called ransom. So money means different things to different people. If you go to school and you exchange your money for the information they are giving you there, is called school fees. See? So, and for instance, to me now, if I go preach somewhere and they give me the same money, it's called honorarium. So, see, money means different things to different people, different perspective about money. But really, when we talk about money, money is not really the cash. It's not the cash. It's not the one in your account. Money is much, much more than that. One of the mistakes that people make, for instance, you see armed robbers who go to, kill people and to get this money. For instance, if an armed robber, goes to a place, a bank, get the cash and kill people in the process, and maybe keep the money somewhere, and maybe, unfortunately, the place got burnt and the cash got burnt, what happens? The money has disappeared. So, you see, the paper is not the money. The paper is not the money. There's something that commands the money. This 1,000 naira bill, this is not the money. Unfortunately, this money is not really even money now. The value of this money is so messed up. So maybe I should have owed, dollar or something. So, like I'm saying, that this now is not money. When they say a currency, this is not the currency, because the idea of currency is something that don't end. It's something that flows. But this, for instance, if I put matches on this and I burn this, that's the end of this. So this is not the real currency. This is not the real money. But before we discuss what the real money is, I'd just like to take a brief history of money, how money, evolved, right? Okay, if you're a believer, you're Christian, and you read by your Bible, in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, the Bible says that God created the heavens and the earth. And he created everything in the earth, the gold, the mountains, the sea, the plains, the land, the grains, and everything. God created everything without money, because there was no even anything called money as at that time. So how did money evolve? Money evolved much, 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 much later in the history of man. Let's say around maybe 300, 400 years after the history of earth. That's when we begin to even see any traces or concepts about money at all. And, before, maybe some years ago, especially maybe in Africa, some maybe 200, 300 years ago, we do something they call trade by barter. And I discovered that there's a village in Nigeria where they still do trade by barter. All right. So what was popular then was called trade by barter. How does trade by barter works? It means that you have yam, you bring your yam to the market. I have beans, but I don't need beans, I need yam. So I exchange my yam with your beans. Somebody else have cocoa and they need clothes. So you have clothes and you need cocoa. So you exchange your clothes for somebody else's cocoa. So that's the trade by barter. But the method of the trade by barter is so complicated. And that's just the concept of money generally, because it means that if you don't have, for instance, I was talking about, I have yam, somebody else have beans. It means that if I don't have yam, if I don't bring something to the market, I cannot take anything. I cannot say, oh, just give me something and I will give you later. No. So the concept of money talks about the concept of value, which I will talk about later. So you need to have something that you bring to the market for an exchange of something that you want but you don't have. All right. But like I was saying, the concept of trade by barter is so complicated. There are lots of challenges, operating trade by barter. For instance, if I have cocoa and I don't, of course, I don't need cocoa, but I have it. But what I need is clothes. And I go to the market and there's nobody who needs cocoa that have clothes. That's going to be a problem. Because that means that I have to look for somebody who needs cocoa but have what I want. You get? So you see that people will come to the market with a tomato and they need yam, or they come with pepper and they need shoe. You get? So the problem of seeing the person that have what I need and needs what I have, it's a problem. That's one of the big problems of trade by barter. All right. Apart from that, how do you measure value? That's the second challenge of trade by barter. How do you measure the value of what I am giving you in quantity and quality to what you are giving me? The third reason why the concept of trade by barter, is complicated is the problem of transportation. Like, carrying your goods from one place to another. Imagine you brought 40 tubers of yam to the market, and eventually you couldn't find the person that needs yam and have what you needed. That means you have to carry your 40 tubers of yam maybe to another market, and you get to the market, the same thing. You go to another market, you go to that market, the same thing. Then you have to carry it back home and wait for another day market. It's cumbersome. It's very, very cumbersome. So because of many of these challenges of trade by barter, then human beings, they begin to look at how can we better trade or transact business without this complication. And before you know it, we begin to invent the concept of cowries, then from cowries to beads, from beads to they use copper, they use silver, they use gold coin. Then before you know, we start using paper. Then technology moved on. We are now using cryptocurrencies and e-money, wallet, and all those things. So that's how the history of money has evolved from the earliest time even up till this moment. All right. So what's the real money? What's the real money? Number one, real money is value. Real money is value. For instance, we during the trade by barter period, you have to bring something for you to collect something. You can't come to the market and hope that somebody will give you yam, or somebody will give you tomato, or somebody will give you cocoa, or somebody will give you clothes, or shoes, or palm wine. You have to bring something to the market. So the thing you bring to the market is the thing that represents value. And it is the value of the thing you take to the market that will represent the value that you get back. Like, for instance, I was saying the other time that if you bring, let's say, 50 kg of cocoa, 50 kg of cocoa in a bag, to the market, you cannot exchange that 50 kg of cocoa for 50 kg of corn, because you will be giving more value than you are receiving. And if you take 50 kg of corn, you don't expect to get 50 kg of cocoa. Why? Because the value of corn is less than the value of cocoa. For instance, it takes maybe 3, 4, 5 months maximum to grow and harvest a corn. But a cocoa, it will take you years before you can even start harvesting that cocoa. So the value of cocoa, is now more than the value of corn. So you need to know that the real money is value. The real money is value. So even when you don't have cash and you have value, you know that you are not poor. Now, for instance, myself, there are times when several times when I don't have cash, I don't have money in my account, but I am not worried, because I know that I have value. I have something that one day or the other people will come for. That's value. So when you have value, you are rich, you are not poor. And let me say this, if all you have is cash, all you have is the naira, all you have is the dollar, then you are the poorest man on earth. You are the poorest man on earth. Maybe you asked, what is value? Now, value is the measure of usefulness. How important a product or a service is the measure of usefulness of how important or useful a product or service, is. I don't know whether it was like 4 days ago, I was talking about how to increase your value. Did you remember that video? So I was talking about how do you increase your value or you increase your worth. One of the things we mentioned is time. So for instance, now, if I do things that I take more time to do, in one way or the other, the value of things they use less time to do will reduce to the things compared to the ones that takes more time to produce. You get? So time, investing time in something is value. I think another point we also measure is quality. So quality also is one of the things that determines value. Quality. Then excellence. Excellence is one of the things that determine value. For instance, we're saying that, for instance, you can have, in an airplane, you can buy a ticket for economy for $500. The same plane, the same time or duration of flight, the same location, the same destination. You buy one for $500. You buy first class maybe for $1,200. What's the difference? Why is the value different? Because of the quality. In that example, it is not the time. It is the quality that makes the value to have improved or increased. All right. Then you now go to competence. Competence. Now, let's say, for instance, why is it that when you are going to, maybe from Oshodi, you are going to Yanopaja, and you want to go and go Molue, and you are Molue, maybe like 100 naira or 200 naira, Yanopaja, and just you get in 100 naira or 200 naira, and at the same time you want to order Uber, and then Uber will tell you 5,000 naira, the same distance, but maybe probably the same time. What's the difference? The competence of the driver, because this driver, some professional bodies have actually scrutinized him and found him worthy to drive on the road. So it's including professionalism, it's competency, it's including quality. You get? It's including excellence. That's why you will pay 5,000 naira for Uber and you pay 200 naira for Molue. You enjoy the comfort for one, you endure the discomfort for the other. So value. Money is equal to value. Money is equal to value. All right? What is money? Money is productivity. Money is productivity. Now, value, as we said, is the measure of importance or usefulness. That's value. However, productivity is how much of that value you can produce per time. So productivity is, let me do it in mathematics way. That will be value plus time equals productivity. Value plus time. So what we are trying to say now is that, for instance, okay, you tell us that you can sew very good agbada, one agbada for 2,000 naira or 20,000 naira. But how many agbada of that agbada can you make in a short period of time, or can be made available for a period of time? So you see, it's not just value that you are producing, is that how much of that value can you give or can you produce in a specified period of time. All right. Now, for instance, let's say you write books. That's value. The book is the value. Now, what if, let's say you now produce hard copy now. Let's say you now produce 1,000 copy of that value. Now, each copy of that book is 1,000 naira, right? So that means that 1,000 is 1 million naira. That's a value of 1 million naira. It's not just a value of 1,000 naira, a value of 1 million. Now talk about somebody who produced 10,000 copies of that same book. Of course, he will make more money than you that produced 1,000 copy of the same book. All right. So productivity is also money. How much you are able to produce. Then what is also money? Money is also distribution. Money is also distribution. Now, what also determines profit? The profit of value, because there are times that you can give value and not make profit, right? You can give value and not make profit. That's settled, all right? So, how much of your value are you able to distribute? How much of your value are you able to distribute? Now, distribution talks about platform too. Now, some people will now think that, oh, yeah, good. I have 10,000 copies of this. I can make, that's 10 million naira from this book. But beyond that, there will be people who need this book on e-version. So I put it online, and maybe another 10,000 people, will buy it from online. Okay, some people don't have that time to read. I put it on audio because they want to listen to it when they are going to work. That's another value. You get? So it's not just about producing value, but how many dynamics, how many variants of that value can you produce? That's money. So distribution is money. Distribution is money. Number 3, is that number 3 or number 4? Number 4, money is sales. Money is sales. Now, sales is what transforms value to profit. Because you can have all the books, but if you don't know how to sell it, then you will not turn it to money. All right. So it's not just about you, being productive or producing value. It's about, selling those values, putting those values to sale. And in this 21st century, we have an advantage. You can advertise your businesses on, digital marketing platforms. You can promote your business. You can put it on WhatsApp, on Facebook, on YouTube. And, when you put it on those platforms, you have opportunity to, have more clients or more customers. So money is about sales. Sales turns your value into profit. Also innovation. Innovation is money right now. Innovation is money right now. If you can innovate, and, innovation is just like at times doing the old things in a new way. All right. I've mentioned maybe writing a book. Before, it's just in hard copy book, but now you can put that same book in online that as e-copies. You can put that same book as audio book. You can turn that same book to video. You can turn that, you can do a lot of things even to the single value that you produce. So the idea of money is the idea of value. Is the idea of value. How much value can you give? And the more value you give, the more money you have. So probably the reason why you don't have money is because there is no value. Because if you are giving value, then you will make money. Or maybe you are giving value, but you are not productive with the value you are giving. Or maybe you are being productive, but you are not selling the value that you are giving. You're not selling your gift. You're not selling your potentials. You're not selling your informations. All right. So those things also are, the things that you can have as money. All right. This is the problem of entitlement mentality, because entitlement mentality is wanting something for nothing. You have entitlement mentality when you think that you can get something for doing nothing. And that's common here in Africa or in Nigeria, because people just feel that you hold them. I mean, even you give them the little you have, they don't appreciate it. They feel like, after all, you're my father. After all, you're the government. After all, you're my pastor. After all, you're my uncle. I mean, I deserve to get this from you. So you see, once you know that you're not giving any value, if anybody gives you anything, they are doing you a huge favor, no matter how small or how big, they are. So money is not something you pursue, it's something you attract with your value. With your value. And once your value, begin to speak, people begin to, add to how they demand it. So I remember, for instance, there was a church that invited me to come and preach in their church like 8 or 9 years ago. The first time I went to that church, as honorarium, they gave me a bottle of granite and a watermelon. So the next time they invited me to preach again, they gave me, I think, a whole amper. The next time they invited me to preach there, they gave me an amper and I think 10,000 naira. Then the next time they invited me to preach there, they gave me, I think, maybe 30,000 naira and an amper. And that was like, 5 years ago. So, or 4 or 5 years ago. So, you see, what makes them to change their mind the first, the second time, the third time, the fourth time? For me, is the perceived value is to the amount to which they are blessed. At times it's not really that people don't have money. It's just that you've not paid, you've not given them a quality value. Because when you give them a quality value, there will be some kind of honorarium that will be an abuse to you. I'm not saying that it's a law that the kind of amount they give you is an evaluation of the value you give. At times it's not just like that. At times it's just that those people just don't have, and they just want to encourage you. It doesn't mean at times that what you give is not good enough. I remember Mensa Otabi was saying that, I think in an acceleration conference in Elevation Church, he was saying that this same message he's preaching, he has preached it 25, 30 years ago in a classroom, and nobody clapped for him. The same message. So at times, it's not just the value. At times, it's also the season, what's it called now? The exposure that you now have, the name that you now have. So a lot of things, determines your value. All right. Okay. So we need to understand that you attract the kind of money you want by the kind of value that you have. I think I'm going to be stopping there today because of our time. So thank you so much for watching. Tomorrow we'll continue on this series about financial freedom, about money stuff. Be talking to you about maybe some other things that are more than money, that are even more valuable than dollar, naira, cash, and some of those things that we look at.